Minds bring together men and women on a melanated minds journey to embrace self-love and empowerment through understanding and taking care of their mind, body, and soul. Melanated Minds is an exclusive community that uplifts and supports one another. The network made for us. Join the Melanated Minds Network today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, DJ Chosen One, aka Mr. Lamar from Ready to Love. I got some exciting news for you. Mark your calendars because the Melanated Minds Network is bringing you the Big Game Day Mental Health Fair on September 21st, 2024 at the Waller County Community Center in Prairie View, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. This event is about promoting mental health and community wellness. It's happening from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with doors opening at 9:30 a.m. We'll have incredible speakers, interactive booths, and resources to help you take care of all your mental health. And that's not all. I'll be there spinning the hottest tracks to keep you hyped along with our amazing host, Dr. Felicia L, and our special guest, Ron Chilson. We're bringing the energy, the knowledge, and the vibes all day long. Plus, we can't forget the highlight of the day. The Southern Jaguars will take on Prairie View Panthers at 6 p.m. Who's ready for some football? Man, it's going to go down. A game to remember. We are calling all Black-owned businesses. This is your chance to shine. We want you to be a part of this amazing opportunity to showcase your brand and connect with the community. Apply now by visiting 4melanatedminds.net. Don't miss out.
Technology is about embracing every facet of our identity. It's about recognizing our strengths, understanding our challenges, and transforming our experiences into wisdom and power. It's a celebration of our ability to adapt, to rise, and to thrive in the face of adversity.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our podcast this evening. My name is Deja Center, and I am the National Vice President for the Melanated Minds Network. Tonight, we have our podcast, and it's going to be titled Dealing with Goliaths. Tonight is going to get kind of personal. We're talking about dealing with physical, mental, and spiritual challenges. I think that this is going to be a message for all the young sisters out here that have really been struggling and just need a place to come and get a word. Not necessarily spiritual, but it could be spiritual. And they just need a community. And I know for me personally, I've been struggling mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that's where this is coming from. So tonight, this is very, very personal for me. That's part of the reason why I'm wearing sunglasses. I've been struggling with migraines and muscle spasms, and so it's just kind of been one challenge after another. And so if you're feeling anything like me and you're wondering, like, okay, God, what next? Why do I keep going through challenges? Why me? Why do I keep having to deal with mental issues and physical challenges, spiritual issues, financial challenges? Then you're in the right place tonight. And we're going to be joined by some phenomenal women tonight. I asked our national chaplain, Dr. Felicia L, and our national president, Dr. Shamarah Hutchins, to come and breathe some life into all the incredible people, women, men, anybody that needed a word tonight. Just come just breathe some life into all of us, kind of just give us some ways to deal with the Goliaths, because sometimes you can't deal with them by yourself, and you just kind of need some people to give you some tools and some ways to lessen the burden, or to just kind of push those boulders up the hill, so to speak. So that's what we're here to do today. Thank you again for joining, and we're so glad that you're here. We do these podcasts every Thursday, and this is just one of the ways that our network aspires to inspire our community and help raise awareness for mental health and kind of bolster our community. So, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. And hopefully, this is inspiring you to reach further into our network and to kind of dig and see what we have to offer. Let's bring our next person into the show. Welcome,
Hello,
Dr. L.
hello everyone.
How are you doing this evening?
Well, as you opened up very well and eloquently, everybody's going through. God is great and gracious, but we are all struggling with something, sis. So I'm well. I'm well. I'll say it is well with my soul. That's what I'll say.
Good, good. That's always good to hear. We definitely, even when things are going good, we could always use some tools to bolster our spirit and kind of sift through and see where we can make things better, right?
Yes, yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, ma'am.
So I guess one of the things that I wanted to start with is it's like when people are kind of like struggling, not necessarily, well, even when things are good, right? What's one thing that you could encourage people to do to make it better?
Yeah. I think one thing that we don't do well, and that is have compassion towards ourselves. We take a lot of time to exemplify and be courteous to and be there for others. And then when it comes to turning the table on what we need and how we can really get what we need, we seem to shy away from it or we ignore it altogether. And by ignoring it altogether, we find ourselves in spaces of emergency room visits, under crisis care management, under pain solution management, whether it be physical, mental, spiritual, or a combination therein. We have to realize that we have to be compassionate and respond to our needs. That's it. And when we start there by responding to our needs, and that goes beyond, but in addition to self care, it goes, what do I need today? Not just in what is going to help me be the best me every time we wake up in the morning. What's going to make me the best me? If it's not responding to an email until a certain time, that's it. If it's not until answering our phone until a certain time from a certain person, that's what we need to do because our health is just as important as focusing on others or being attentive to the needs of others. That's what I would say.
Okay, okay. And then, like, so for somebody like me who feels like they have been struggling back to back for years and just haven't really been able to catch their breath, right?
Mhm.
What would you say to them?
Since we're talking about David and Goliath, when you do feel overwhelmed in your struggles, in your victories, in your valleys, in your moments of, I'm struggling to breathe, I'm choking, I can't get it out. Remember the strength of David. That's who we're talking about, right? The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. For God, you are my rock. I take refuge in you. And I say that for those that need shelter. When you are choking, the one thing you need to do is find air, right? That's what, when you're choking, you need air. You need to come up from air because right now you're drowning. So find refuge, find shelter, find safety somewhere. If it's with friends, if it's in church, with your community, wherever it is, find shelter because you can sometimes what happens. We've seen these videos. As a matter of fact, I just saw one on the Facebook not too long ago, and it was a young man who jumped in a pool, but he couldn't swim, right? And because he couldn't swim, somebody ended up going in after him. And it's somebody going in after him because he was not willing to let go and release and realize he was strangling and choking and couldn't swim and couldn't get out of the situation by himself and needed someone else's help. He helped. He almost drowned the person that was there, sent there to save him. and to help him out. And so what I learned from that, sis, is that too many of us were drowning. And then we have people that come and get us and help us, but we don't respond to the help. We don't respond to the care that they're offering, like, hey, you may want to try this out. Or we don't come up for air under refuge, under somebody else's insight and wisdom and cooperation with what we need. And we try to do it by ourselves, but what we do is we end up drowning the people that are trying to help us within our community. We end up drowning ourselves more, and we're calling it quits because we're like, I can't take it anymore. But God is simply saying, seek me as your refuge, I got you. Seek me as your help, I got you. Then I can even open up your mind in those moments to show you who else can help you in the physical. Because right now, your mind might be convoluted and crying out, and you may not be focused enough to know who is and who isn't there for you. But when we stop and just find safety, find shelter, we can find where the real help is. And then hopefully we can start breathing again.
Yeah, you make a good point, because I know, like me, especially with the past few days, I've definitely been in a place where I felt like, you know what, that's it, I'm taking it. Like I've literally been just like in this place where it's just like I don't know what else to do. I'm just ah. So it's just like you saying that, it's just like wow, you're saying exactly how I've been feeling, and
Praise God.
like
Amen.
that's crazy.
Go God.
Another thing too is like it's important to remember. Like I posted something on Facebook a couple of days ago, and it wasn't intended to be like, I guess, like a cry for help or an attention seeking,
Mhm.
but I had quite a few people reach out to me just to like check on me and make sure that I was okay. And like in doing that, I did feel that I had, some refuge and some like people that I could confide in and that like genuinely wanted to make sure that I was okay. Even somebody that I could like I never talked to. And I
Yeah.
was just wow. Like feeling like I was completely alone was like part of the issue, I think. And so
Yeah.
like feeling like I'm not so secluded
Hmm.
helped a lot. Helped a lot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely would say that too. And that's one of the great things too about our network is that it gives people a community and people to go to and like ask advice or like, get connections and network, and like it would have never been something that we would have been able to do something like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm grateful. Like I'm grateful
Yeah.
for this right now.
Yeah. And you mentioned something, sis, and gratitude is one of those things that helps us to remember. That's why I started. I had shots, I had 12 shots in my back and neck today. Am I feeling great? Am I dealing with migraines? Absolutely. I got the same. But I know also I have to think about in gratitude what I do have. Just those small things, because they are the glimmers of hope. You know, David had stones, right? He had three little stones, little rocks to
Mhm.
fight that big old man. And I think in our lives, if we can put in our slingshot gratitude, hope, and taking care of ourselves, loving on ourselves when we need it, not when it's forced upon us. And we sling that at our life every day because we have mountains every day. And when we sling one of those rocks, something's going to hit. Whether it's gratitude, whether it's hope, or whether it's getting the help that you need, sis. One of them rocks is going to hit that giant in our life, and those things are going to start falling down in our life. Courage is not the absence. And I love what you said when you said you reached out and you didn't know that you were even alone. Sometimes we do things not even knowing that we're setting ourselves up to get the help that we didn't know we needed. But that's how God works. That's why he says, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. We don't know what we want, but he does. And so sometimes when we put those small messages out, we receive what God has for us so that we can realize that courage is not the absence of loneliness sometimes. It's not the absence of fear. Courage is not the absence of anxiety. Courage is not the absence of depression. Courage is not the absence of things that weigh us down, but it's up to us to triumph over it by slinging them rocks one by one or all three at the same time and hoping something hit, seeing if there's any whatever that comes about. Because the things that are in our lives, they're huge, they're big. Sometimes they're big, but our God is bigger. And our spirit is resilient. Our hearts and our homes, our heart, when I say home, our heart is resilient. Our home is resilient. Our minds are resilient. But sometimes we just need help. We can't do it on our own. And when we trust that we're not by ourselves, we can construct a plan of moving forward. And then that allows God even to help us construct a plan of moving forward. And that all in all reminds us again that we're not by ourselves in anything that we go through. Because like you said, the melanated minds, you have people that'll be like, what you need, sis? Somebody puts in the prayer, puts a question on our thread. What is this? How do I go about that? What do I need to do? Somebody's there to respond. It may take a little while at times, a little longer than needed, but guess what? We're there to respond because that's what it's about. It's about having knowledge that we can all come together because now one person has all the information, but coming together in a collective, we can all collectively get a lot done and feel whole again.
True. Sometimes you going through going through a storm or something, you lose perspective.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna be in this situation forever, or like you
Mhm.
gonna get through it, and you feel like this is it. Like I'm trapped in this situation forever, and this is all.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just gotta like that's because that's how I know I feel like that right now. It's just like even though I know that it's temporary and like I know that they're trying to figure out like how to get this stuff under control, it's just like it's recurring and it keeps
Yeah.
like happening. It's just like, bro.
Yeah. But you're still here, praise God. You're still here. And you may have scars, but your scars are not weaknesses. They're symbols of your persistence and your perseverance and your ability to keep going in the face of adversity, and continuing to move past. One of the secret weapons that each of us has, if we are willing to tap into it and activate it, and that's persistence. Even if I'm crawling, be persistent. Even if I'm clamoring, be persistent. Even if I'm low hanging, can't do nothing, got glasses on, baby, you here, be persistent. And that's when life can help because we're no longer allowing the things of life to weaponize us, but we take the strength back. We take the hope back. We take the heart of the matter back, and we start feeding into it and using it as our strength.
I came in right on time. All
Hey.
right. Got Dr. Pope. Got Dr. Pope preaching out here. No. Yeah.
Hey, National President. Hey, Dr. Shamarah.
How are y'all?
All is well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
All right. So what we talking about?
Yeah, so we talking about the spiritual impact that going through physical and issues have on people. So we can definitely talk about the mental impact that going through physical issues can have on people.
Definitely. So when we going through whatever we're going through, especially when we're going through something that's, trying on our mind, our body, and our spirit, our mind gets hit the hardest. Why? Because we start doubting ourselves. That's the first thing we do when it comes to anything that happens to us. We start to have those negative emotions, those negative thoughts, or what we call unhealthy thinking. We start to say, "Oh, I'm not good enough," or all these things happen to me. Why me? That's the first thing that we'll say. Why me? Why not you? Bring it back to spiritual, bring it back to your higher power. He did it. Why can't I go through something, right? All the trials and tribulations that that I believe in God, so that God went through, why can't I go through it too? And so just knowing that every test, when it comes to our mind, we just have to continue to think positive. And so waking up with a sense of gratitude. I don't care what you do, wake up with a sense of gratitude. What are you grateful for today for waking up? And it can be, people say it can be the small things, but those small things are big things, right? My eyes, open. Many people didn't get that chance to open their eyes. And so we just got to understand that the things that we take for granted are some things that people don't ever have,
Mhm.
sight, hearing, walking, all those things, our mind being able to calculate, being able to do math, and just understand, especially being African Americans, how resilient we are. And so if you're just thinking about the backbones that you came from, the foundation that you came from, that alone gets your mind and a mentality of, you know what, I can get through this. But also understanding getting through this means that I am strong enough to ask for help.
Amen.
I am strong enough to ask for help. Nobody can do anything alone. I don't care who you are. I know we want to, but we can't. And in order to get through it, to be able to talk through it, you have to ask for help. That's it. And that's the whole thing. We can have our bad days. I always say I say I got 10 seconds. People be like, dang, can I have 24 hours? No, because I don't know what 24 hours gonna look like. So I got
Hmm.
10 seconds to get all this anger out real quick, and then I gotta go. Gotta keep moving. And if I need to come back to it, then I'll come back to it to work through it. But if I can't work through it by myself, I need to ask for help. So
Amen.
I want that key to be said. If I cannot work through it myself, I need to ask for help.
That's
And so
right.
that's the key.
That's it.
That's the
That's
key.
it. That's in summation.
Yeah. Wake up with a sense of gratitude. Be grateful.
Yeah.
There's so much. People don't be grateful until something tragic happens. And you should be grateful just because you're still breathing, living, seeing, walking, got a job, if you have a job, able to be an entrepreneur if you're going to be an entrepreneur. Just all those things, just be grateful. And so a sense of gratitude takes you a long way. Go to bed grateful. Like, I start the day off positive. I don't care what happened in between. I'm going to end the day off positive. Because if I go to bed mad, that means my dream's going to be mad. I need to be dreaming about good. Not what I would not what happened throughout the day. So let me start that over. So
That's right. That's good. That's good. That's good. You act like you were here already. See how the Lord does that? He does all things well. You all up in this, sis. I love it. Go God.
our mind, man, your mind can play tricks on you.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm a psychologist, because I love the way the mind works, because you can
Hmm.
retrain it. You can
Hmm.
retrain your mind no matter what you've been through. you can retrain your mind. It's only if you want to retrain it. And it's going to take some work. It's going to take some time. But again, like I said, we're resilient. And so you got to keep going and it will eventually change. You will eventually relearn.
I like what you said, Dr. Shamarah, because every step that we take expresses a test that can become a testament and then into our testimony. And so, and so you express how our mind works, but we have to take the step. We have to take the first step. We can't, now that's one thing. We can't rely on God to take the step for us. He'll be there to welcome us after we have taken the step and activated a little bit of faith, just a little bit. He don't need a whole lot. He just said a little bit of mustard seed, just a little tiny pinch, if you will. And he says, once you take that step, he's already active. He's already given you within himself the ability to make the step. Now he needs us to activate ourselves in taking that step. And it is and within that activation, we can move through the retraining process. We can
That's
move through the transformation process.
that sound like therapy. I can't change you. Look, you see how that mental health works in there?
Yes.
God put us on earth to help you. I can't
Mm-hmm.
make you do it. You have to want to
Okay.
do it. I
That's
can't
it.
push you to do it. I'm
Yeah.
there to guide you. I'm there to make sure you don't go into,
Mm-hmm.
back into, trauma that you can't deal with yourself. I'm there
That's
to
right.
comfort you.
That's
You
right.
know,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
there. I'm there for you to let it out. See, therapy is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, he is the chief, the wonderful counselor. So, hey, if he's a
Absolutely.
wonderful counselor, therapy has to be something that he's a fan of. His name is Wonderful Counselor.
Yeah.
So, obviously, counseling is something that is dear to his heart. He's one that doesn't sleep or slumber. It has to be dear to his heart.
All right.
Yes.
Why I chose this topic because I
Yes. What else you got for us?
so while we on the subject of him being a wonderful counselor and walking with faith and everything, nobody, and we might ruffle some feathers here, but
Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle.
know he likes to talk about how walking with faith requires you to deal with a whole lot of stuff that's probably going to require you to have a counselor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got that, Doc? I got some. I got you. I mean, I'm gonna tag you in first, and then I got you.
Go first. Go.
It's simple. Um, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? If it was so poignant for David to pen the fact that he was walking through the valley of the shadow of death, that means there's going to be some valleys, there's going to be some shallow shadows, there's going to be some things that we had to deal with, whether it's trauma or drama, because some of the traumas in our life we bring on ourselves. So whichever it might be, we have to recover from those things. But we have to deal with them in the place of understanding that God is always with us. He was there when it happened, and he's there now. And we're always led to light because eventually it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life, meaning you have to come out of this. This too shall pass. It will pass, but we have to do the work. You have to be still, realize you need the help, get the help. And once you have the help, do the work. Once you do the work, guess what? Transformation thusly and therefore happens. But it's not by osmosis. Whether it's a spiritual journey, a mental journey, a educational journey, none of this happens by osmosis. Even the smartest person has to open up a book occasionally or go to class occasionally and go, okay, even if they're speed readers, they at least got to go, okay, now I know it. but they had to do the work to at least crack the book open at one point. They had to take the test to get the grades to show himself or herself approved so that they could get the degree. Work has to be done. And we're afraid not of the shadows, we're afraid of the work. Hello, somebody.
Yes. Afraid of the work. But also trusting the process. So
Yes.
that's the big part. So
Yes.
we go back on ourselves. The ultimate part
Mm-hmm.
is you're supposed to trust yourself
Come
so you
on.
don't feel
Come
like you
on.
can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
beginning you thought you can do it, but now you a little rocky. Things don't seem like they supposed to go your way. And
Yeah.
so now my mind start to play tricks on me.
Yeah.
So, but the person that's the same as you got
Mm-hmm.
to trust the process. You
Mm-hmm.
got to understand that you set yourself up already if you did the work
Mm-hmm.
to make
Mm-hmm.
it through.
Yes.
So he's opening the door, but he's saying, "Are you going to trust the process? Are you going to trust me? Do you trust yourself?
Come
Forget
on.
about trusting him, and like, do you trust yourself?
Yes. Yes.
Because if you trust yourself, I came through, I helped you, I'm helping you, so therefore you want to trust me. So keep going,
Keep
go,
going.
push through.
Yes.
That
Yes.
manifestation, that visualization is going to help you. You can see that. Listen, make that end of the tunnel until you get to that end of the tunnel. See that
Yes.
light. You got to trust yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Mm. 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 That's good, sis. And in that, remembering, and sis, you and I have talked about this, or you may have even brought it up at another uh, session that we've done together, and that is you've been in this thing for 20, 30, 40 years in this mentality. It may take 20, 30, at least longer than 40 minutes to get out of it. So don't think it's going to happen in that one session. Don't think you won't go back to old behavior because of going through one session. It took you this time, this much time to go through it or to get to it. Now it may take that much time or less, but you just got to trust yourself in the process to get to the other side. But yeah, you've lived this way. I know for myself, I've lived in certain patterns and behaviors for over 40 years. So someone looking at me like, well, why aren't you over that? You're not there now. No, because it's a slippery slope going right back in. It's a slippery slope. That was 40 years of my life of a
Mhm.
pattern and fashion behavior. And because of that, I have to make sure I make the concerted effort to make sure that once there is transformation manifestation, I stay on the other side of it. But some things I'm still working on because it was a long time embedded within me. It's almost innate now. So when somebody says do this, I respond this way because it's almost innate. Those patterns are a part of me, but I have to retrain and be confident in the process of retraining. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good. Yep. That's good. That's good. I love it. All right.
Well, y'all don't poured into me, and I feel like I need to definitely find a counselor because I had one and I haven't been in a while. So that's definitely on my to-do list again to go back. And for everybody watching, if y'all need a counselor, I suggest y'all find one because it's definitely beneficial. Even if y'all not necessarily going through issues, having somebody to help y'all process y'all emotions and having somebody to help y'all process any good, even if it's good stuff, it's beneficial. Just gonna put
Yeah,
that out there.
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's why we have this platform so we can understand through the good, the bad, whatever it is. Mental health is important. And so talking to somebody, being proactive
Yes.
instead of being reactive. A counselor is not just for, going through the negative stuff. I'm searching for a new counselor. See, the psychologist has a counselor, absolutely. But talk about the positive stuff too, because sometimes you got to get that out to move to the next level as well. Like I didn't work through that. So even if it's positive, I still need to work through it, because how did I get there? Because might have to go to the next level. So what am I looking forward to? Because it's going to be something else that I need to talk about. And so understanding that we have to have someone that we need to talk to. Can't talk to ourselves. I mean, you can, but you want somebody to talk to.
Because you bias towards yourself.
Very biased. I'm very biased.
We are very biased towards ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And we will give ourselves the wrong answer most of the time in that space.
And so as we're here, I want to say I appreciate you all. I always say that, but I want to say it publicly. I know I say it privately, but I want to say that I truly, truly appreciate you, Deja. I appreciate you, Dr. Poe. I love that you all love, the Melanated Minds Network and how we build a community within ourselves to help everybody else in the community. And so I want everybody to know that I definitely appreciate both of you, all of the national officers. Thank you.
And I
Thank you. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Both of you guys for taking the time out to join me tonight. You guys both definitely poured into me, and I really, really needed it. And I hope that everybody watching got something out of the conversation tonight. It was very, very, very much so needed. Very much so.
All right.
Melanated Minds bring together men and women on a melanated minds journey to embrace self-love and empowerment through understanding and taking care of their mind, body, and soul. Melanated Minds is an exclusive community that uplifts and supports one another. The network made for us. Join the Melanated Minds Network today.